Welcome to Mental Models Daily, where we explore one mental model each day to help you elevate your daily decision-making. Today, we're examining a fundamental concept in economics: economies of scale, which explains how growth in size or output can lead to reduced costs per unit. Economies of scale is more than just bigger is cheaper. It's about understanding how increased scale can transform the economics of any operation through multiple mechanisms. Think of it like a snowball rolling downhill, not only getting bigger, but also becoming more efficient at gathering snow as its surface area grows. What makes this concept particularly powerful is how it reveals opportunities for competitive advantage through scale that might not be obvious at first glance. A fascinating historical example comes from the Carnegie Steel Company in the late 1800s. Andrew Carnegie revolutionized steel production by relentlessly pursuing economies of scale at every level. He didn't just build bigger blast furnaces, he vertically integrated by buying iron ore deposits, coal mines and railroads. Each increase in scale allowed new efficiencies. Larger blast furnaces used less fuel per ton of steel, owned railroads reduced transportation costs, and bigger production volumes justified investing in advanced technology. By 1901, Carnegie Steel could produce steel rails at $11.50 per ton, while competitors' costs averaged $18. This cost advantage, driven by economies of scale, helped Carnegie become the world's largest steel producer and eventually the richest man in the world. In the modern business world, Taiwan's Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, TSMC, provides an illuminating example of economies of scale in action. Unlike integrated chip companies that design and manufacture their own chips, TSMC focused solely on manufacturing for others. By serving multiple customers, they achieve massive scale that justifies investments in advanced technology no single company could afford. Each new generation of chip-making equipment costs billions, but TSMC's scale means they can spread these costs across hundreds of customers. This creates a virtuous cycle. Their scale advantages attract more customers, which increases scale further, making it nearly impossible for new competitors to enter the market. It's like having a gravity well that becomes deeper and more powerful as more mass is added. So, how can we apply economies of scale thinking in our daily lives? First, practice what I call scale opportunity spotting. Look for areas where increased volume could transform the economics of what you're doing. This might mean buying in bulk, when the savings justify storage costs, combining errands to reduce per-trip costs, or learning skills that become more valuable when applied across multiple projects. It's like being an architect who can see how a bigger building might actually cost less per square foot. Second, implement fixed cost leverage. Identify fixed costs in your life or business and look for ways to spread them across more units of output. This could mean sharing subscription services with family members, using the same research for multiple projects, or turning fixed costs into revenue sources by sharing resources with others. It's like turning a single-family home into a duplex. The land cost stays the same but supports twice the living space. Third, develop what I call threshold awareness. Learn to recognize when increasing scale might unlock new capabilities or efficiencies. This means understanding when getting bigger isn't just about doing the same thing more cheaply, but about being able to do entirely new things. It's like knowing when a larger boat won't just carry more cargo, but will be stable enough to cross oceans. In conclusion, economies of scale reminds us that the relationship between input and output isn't always linear. Sometimes getting bigger changes the game entirely. By understanding these dynamics, we can make better decisions about growth and investment. In a world where scale advantages can create powerful competitive moats, this mental model helps us identify and capture opportunities for transformative efficiency. Thank you for joining me today on Mental Models Daily. Until next time, may your operations be scalable, your costs be decreasing, and your advantages be growing. For more mental models, please visit mentalmodelsdaily.com or find us on X or Instagram. Our podcast music was provided by thepodcasthost.com and Alitu, the podcast maker. Find your own free podcast music over at thepodcasthost.com/free music.